All right, welcome everybody. Stand by for just a couple of moments here while I get our teleconference all set up as well. Hang on just a moment. Let's see if I can accomplish all that at once. I don't know how to get all these pieces together all the time. Okay, good. All right, volume's working. Okay, welcome everybody to our AMS Members Webinar for February 2018. We have a lot to get through today and not a lot of time. So I'm going to, sort of jump in a little bit quickly today. I had a few observations from running through our statistics here at AMS and looking at, at my schools and at other large organizations that I'm working with, and drawing some commonalities that are happening in the industry right now. And I thought I would walk you through a few of the things that we're seeing, not just here at AMS, but, sort of globally. And a few of the big lessons from 2017 that we really want to make sure all of our users and our members are focused on in 2018. And some of the new things that are coming up in 2018 that I think you're really going to love. So first, before we get into that, let's talk about a couple of new things that are happening that I really want you to know about, and I want to make sure that you're sort of in the loop on. As you know, in Atlas Martial Arts Software, we have this concept of the Martial Arts Business Academy. This idea, this place where you can, where we're generating and posting for you marketing materials, ads, both offline and online, for both social media and real life. That you can use to attract more new clients, customers, patients, or patrons into your business. And we've revamped the Martial Arts Business Academy, and we have a ton of new features and functionality that we're going to be adding there over the next few days, weeks, and months. So I want to make sure you're sort of in the loop on that. Big sort of rock number one. Let me go ahead and show you my screen on that for just a second here. There's some features here that I really want you to kind of see. Okay, and here is an example. You know what? I think I'm going to try to get this Facebook Live thing going too. In the Martial Arts Business Academy, you'll see that we have the new version, right? And you'll see that there are some tabs across the top. If you're using the AMS Kids After School program, so if you're running the Transported After School program model in your martial arts school, this section is for you. Not all of our members or users are using that program or subscribe to that program. It's sort of an additional layer if you're using that in your school. But if you are, then these materials sort of live here. There's a marketing category where we have adult promotions. When we say a promotion, what we're talking about is sort of a larger campaign. Mostly a promotion will have many pieces. So it won't just be, one ad, but it would be an ad plus, the instructions of how to use it, plus maybe a sign-up sheet or a coupon or handouts or flyers or whatever the case is, right? So sort of the campaigns that roll together. So that's what these promotions are, the promotion of the month. Every month we produce at least one, usually two, sometimes 4 or 5 unique different promotions for every month. So you'll see that the ads are somewhat separate from the promotions. There's more tools inside the promotion area. There's also an item here for anytime campaigns, and you'll see many more of these over the next few weeks. Anytime campaigns are, we post our marketing material here in 2 categories. One is sort of a timely seasonal category, right? So for example, if for marketing materials for February, right, specifically focused on February activities like Valentine's Day or things that happen during that month, those are going to live in the promotion of the month sort of category, and that's where you'll see lots and lots of seasonal type ads, seasonal campaigns, things that are sort of related to quote, a month or a holiday or a season, right? But then there are also other things, right? There are things like, well, maybe you're having a tournament, and maybe tournaments don't really happen just any one time of the year, right? They happen any time of the year. Or maybe we're talking about just let's say a semi-generic parents' night out or a ninja night or something like that. Well, that's where those pieces are going to live. We have a few in there now, a few pieces there now, and many, 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 many more will be going up over the next few weeks. So pay attention to that. Keep an eye on that. It's pretty useful for you. And then enrollment cards. Obviously, one of the marketing strategies that we've used quite extensively in our schools and in many schools across the country is this concept of the enrollment card, which is basically it's a lead generation. If you think about a website, like with a squeeze page, right? With an opt-in page, the smart card is like, or the enrollment card or the smart card is like an opt-in page, like a squeeze page for real life, right? And these are ads that pieces that you would go out into the community, meet people. They, fill out the card. They take the coupon half and you keep the information half, basically, right? So you have the ability to use this as a lead generation mechanism. This has been very, very, very successful in lots and lots and lots of schools across the country. And it's something that we're using very extensively in things like holiday promotions. We're going to talk about Easter here in a little bit, but we're using that type of a concept at many of those types of events, and it's very, very useful for you. So we'll walk through strategy on that in just a couple of moments here. So those are the marketing campaigns. You'll see all sorts of that stuff. AMS Radio might actually be useful to talk about a little bit. AMS Radio is a series of recordings that we do from some of the most successful school operators on the planet. We also have, so for example, these are sort of how-tos, right? These are sort of kind of instruction almost on mostly business-related topics. So for example, if this type of a webinar that we're doing right now, these types of interactions, right? This is, so for example, here's AMS Radio for February and January and December. I guess we have about 3 months of these up here at a time. And we may be discussing in AMS Radio this month, the big rocks, the promotions that we're all doing, in February for example, Valentine's Day. I think that's a pretty useful marketing campaign that all of us are, sort of executing at a pretty high level. Valentine's Day is a very, sort of fruitful holiday for us. And this is the MA Biz Academy link here in Atlas Martial Arts Software. You'll be able to get to those materials by clicking that button, and it'll take you over here. So for example, we have a management section and then a marketing section. We're calling it a promotion section this month that you can kind of plug into and listen to. Very useful material for you and your staff to sort of get your strategy straight for the month. How are we going to, what things are we going to be working on for marketing next month? What things are we going to be working on improving inside the martial arts school for this month? Those types of things. So that's what lives in here. That's what lives in the marketing section. So you may want to check all that stuff out. And in the management section, this is mostly focused on things that the school operators would need. So this is our owner and instructor newsletter. And the owner and instructor newsletter is basically sort of like the monthly magazine for a martial arts school operator, as an example. So this walks you through how to use the promotion of the month. So if we're doing, I don't know, let's say an anti-bullying promotion this month or an Easter promotion, whatever the case might be, this gives you sort of step-by-step articles that you can, consume at your own pace. And this sort of teaches you how to use the stuff that we're delivering for you. And it also gives you lots of case studies based on how other schools have implemented these promotions in the past and how they've augmented and experimented and tweaked these concepts so that they can, increase the response rates and things like that. So you'll see that there. Very useful tool. This is sort of like the monthly magazine for our members, so to speak. And that sort of walks you through the things that you're going to be, that you'll be seeing in the Academy. And then in addition to that, we also have the MA Times student newsletter. And, I've advocated for many, many, many years, one of the most powerful tools that you can use in your school for student retention's sake is using a well-done student newsletter. And, even today, in today's digital world, I still highly recommend that you print these off and give them to, hand them to your people. We're also giving you tools here to be able to email these as well. So we're giving you the student newsletter here, and then also that newsletter broken into 4 weekly emails that you can send to your students like this. All the HTML is done well for you. They're beautiful looking emails. It's really very, very cool. But let's talk a little bit about strategy. Why is a student newsletter so important, right? Why should we consider doing that? Well, think about this for a moment. The analogy that I've used for years is if you've ever spent a lot of time let's say, have a close relative, neighbor, whatever it is, or you live with, or, work with someone who has either, let's say, lost or gained a lot of weight over a period of time, right? Maybe not a lot, maybe some weight, right? Well, what happens is you don't really notice it on a day-to-day basis, right? You don't really notice that, your coworker is, a third of a pound heavier this week than they were last week, right? You just don't notice that because it's small incremental change over time. Well, but then if you don't see that person for, let's say, 3 or 4 months, and then you see them, you're like, wow, you look great. You've lost a ton of weight, right? You look a lot different than the last time I saw you. And that's having that distance from the problem, not seeing it day to day, you'll be able to see those results differently a couple months from now. Well, the same sort of dynamic applies in your martial arts school, right? When a student is learning, in your school, when they're training and their confidence is increasing and they're getting healthier, they're getting fitter, they're getting more focused, that doesn't happen overnight, right? It's small, slow, incremental change over time, just like, losing a little bit of weight every week or every month, right? So you really want to make sure that if you're not reminding all of your students and all of their parents of the benefits that they are getting in your school, if you're not reminding them of that on an ongoing, consistent basis, nobody else is either. You know what I'm saying? So you've really got to make sure that you're on that. You've really got to make sure that you are reminding them of why they're training with you, right? And that makes a big impact on your student retention. Now, some cynical among us might say, well, they see the benefits because they're coming to class. They see it, right? Well, let me ask you a question. How many of you have 100% of your students that have both mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and everybody who's involved in their family at every class, watching every class, listening to every word you say, right? That's not the world we live in, right? So not only is there small incremental changes over time that we want to be reinforcing, we also want to make sure that we're, for lack of a better description, and some people may take issue with how I'm going to say this, but we always want to be reselling the benefits of what we're doing. We always want to be communicating the benefits of our programs to everybody involved, right? If mom doesn't come and watch classes, we want to make sure mom gets that newsletter. If dad isn't coming to classes, we want to make sure he gets that thing. If grandma is paying for lessons but doesn't ever come to class, we want to make sure grandma gets this thing too. You know what I'm saying? So if it's me, I subscribe them all to it. I want to make sure everybody's getting this thing. So for those two very, very important reasons, number one is you want to make sure that you're reinforcing small change over time, right? And making sure that they see the benefits of your program. And second, you want to make sure that you're consistently reinforcing to everybody in the family that, the benefits of your program, the reason they enrolled to begin with, and why your program is helping them make progress in those areas, right? So you really want to make sure, again, this is I highly, highly, highly recommend that you utilize this at a very high level. Now, in the newsletter, we also give you a section in there that you can customize, a third panel that you can put in your events and things like that, but you don't have to. So you have the tool here that you can just basically, chunk these up into 4 emails and send them out. You can pop them into marketing automation, or you can pop them into your communication center and just send these out to your students once a week. I do it on Mondays, right? I have on Monday, my team sits down, they put the emails all together and they schedule them out for the month, right? So for the week. So, please think about utilizing this strategy. We're always reinforcing, the benefits of your program. So you want to make sure you don't miss that opportunity. This is a huge opportunity for you. Next is instruction. So in the instruction section, we have a few pieces I think that you'll find valuable. Mostly, again, this is focused on classroom instruction, helping your staff members, your martial arts instructors. In most cases, we're talking a lot about teaching strategies and techniques, teaching pedagogy, communication skills, how to translate the benefit of what you're doing to translate the martial arts technique that you're using into the actual benefit that it helps deliver to the student and to the family, those types of things. And there's some very, very, one of our contributors is Chief Master Tim McCarthy, very senior member of our martial arts community, senior in rank, and a wonderful martial arts instructor. Really has deep insights into, the psychology of learning. He was an elementary school principal for much of his life before he found the passion for, or during him finding the passion for teaching martial arts. So he has both the academic background and the sort of strategic martial arts instructor background that is really, really, really useful and valuable for all of our members. So take a look at that. Very useful information and very useful strategies for your instructors, your team, and your staff. Personally, what I would do is, listen to them first and then hand them off to your staff. Make sure that your staff is, if your staff get excited about trying new things in the classroom, if your staff get excited about trying new teaching strategies, tactics and techniques in your classroom, they become more passionate about their career. So you may want to take a look at that. And then impact audio. The impact audio basically is audio interview segments. Typically I have a segment there, other interviewees from some of the most successful school operators on the planet, segments on running multiple schools, segments on strategy for the year, for the month, those types of things, typically live in the Timely Reflections, the impact audio category. Industry insights. This is actually a very valuable tool that I want to make sure you're not missing. The industry insight section are video interviews from, again, some of the most successful school operators on the planet. This one here has, looks like Master Chan Lee, Master Terrence Evans, who's here. Oh gosh, Grandmaster Ernie Reyes, Senior, Master Michael Bug. Master Bug runs a $1.4 million a year school in suburban Virginia. Oh gosh, Grandmaster Bill Clark, Master David Herbert. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. This is, we have some video presentations, some interviews, and some strategies from literally some of the strongest school operators in the world. And it's a huge resource that you don't want to miss. I want to make sure that you take advantage of this. It's really, really valuable. These are the types of things that, again, I like to, take a Sunday night, take a little time and walk through all that stuff. And I think that's good enough for the tour for the top navigation. The other part I'd mention is, in the tag navigation over here on the right, we are and will be in the future tagging these based on the type of material they are. So if it's an ad card or a rack card, in this case, you see like an email or a card or a calendar, those types of things, or a coupon, but also by the topic, right? So for example, this is teens, and this is a summer camp type of content, things like that. So this is a very handy navigation tool for you when maybe you don't know exactly the month that you're looking for or whatever, but you can find the type of content that you're looking for. So, hey, I need a newspaper ad. I haven't said that in a long time, but honestly, I am actually doing some print newspaper ads. The cost is way, way, way down now. And our tests are actually working out pretty well, but we'll talk about that another day. So anyway, that's top navigation, right navigation. So then you'll see those sections broken up down here. So here we'll show you some of the items that are in the marketing section. You'll see, obviously, since it's February right now, a wide assortment of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe more versions of Valentine's Day cards, Facebook posts, certificates, a poster, usually Facebook header graphics, all those types of things for the different type of promotions that we're running that month. This one's actually a pretty cool one. This one is, I would call it timeless, although we posted it in December, but this is a very cool, attractive, cartoony look at martial arts for children campaigns. And it's about New Year's goals, but certainly that's pretty easy to modify if that's what you want to do. But take a look at this campaign just as a model. So in this campaign, we're providing for you a poster and a flyer and a couple of versions of flyers. I think 8.5 by 11, maybe even a half a page, but also a Facebook post, an Instagram post, a Facebook ad that can pass the ad standards, and also some emails, some well-formatted, nicely formatted HTML email templates for you. So again, it's a really robust campaign. It looks like we have a black and white flyer, a color flyer, a poster, emails, Facebook post, a Facebook ad. Oh, and then post text. So we have copy that you can use in your Facebook posts, usually 1 to 4, like we're thinking like once a week, that you can post that ad or post that post and pop up, a chunk of copy that can drive them back to your website as well. So we're giving you the sales content and copy for that as well. So really take some time to look around the Martial Arts Business Academy. I'm not going to go too much further. One more feature I want to show you, but really take some time to look around here and look at the tools that we're providing for you. This is a very, very, very powerful tool. And I'm excited about what we have here. I'm excited about the current structure. I'm excited about how it's working, but I'm really excited about the future as well. What you're going to see here is a huge variety of anytime campaigns, along with specific tutorials, specific courses that you and your staff can take for different operational concepts in your business. So we'll get back to that maybe next month or so. So one more chunk I wanted to show you here. Obviously our management content, industry insights, the webinars we talked about, the interviews, instruction material, and then here's the after school program materials. I wanted to point this out again. Again, if you're a school who is facilitating the after school program, AMS is the only organization in the industry that has such a robust support component for our after school program members, for the folks who are using our after school program. This thing is amazing. It does so much for you. In general, we're going to give you what we call let's start with this. Let's start with teacher's guides. Let me get the teacher's guides. Okay. In general, we're going to sort of do as much for you as we possibly can, short of teaching the classes for you. Okay. So number one is this. Here's the AMS Kids promotion of the month. So this is to help you market the after school program. These messages, graphics, headlines, copy, letters, posters, certificates, those types of things are specifically focused on the parent who is looking for a much better alternative to their child's time after school, right? So a regular traditional karate ad, a regular traditional taekwondo ad, a regular traditional martial arts ad is okay, right? But this is specifically targeted for what parents are concerned about in those after school hours, and speak to the benefits that parents are looking for those after school hours, right? So you really want to, take a look at this. If you're implementing the after school program, this is a huge set of tools for you. And again, the marketing is specifically tailored for driving traffic to your after school program. So take a look at that. Second is the kids program guide. Now, the kids program guide is basically for the school operator, right? And this is helping you and your instructors plan for the kids program for that month. So this will have some articles that are educational, right? So in large part, we're helping you learn a lot more about, early childhood development and how to help children achieve at a high level. Since you have a couple of more hours than a typical martial arts school does, than a traditional school does, we have an ability, and frankly, I believe in a responsibility to serve the client, to serve the student at a higher level. And a lot of this content, a lot of this material in here will help you expand your vision, help you expand your personal skill sets and your team skill sets on how to deal with children at a higher level, at a more deep, transformational level. And it's really, really, I love this stuff. Some of the stuff is really amazing material and content from some of the most influential child developmentalists, psychologists, behavioralists, things like that in the country. So you're going to want to take a look at that. It's also going to walk you through activities that you can do through that week. So it's a big retention tool for you in the school. Now, to dovetail into that, here are the instructor's guides. So again, this is sort of designed for the operator, the school operator, and these are designed for the instructors. So these are weekly guides that I'm going to say minute by minute, but really what I mean is in basically 15-minute blocks. But this is your class. These are your class plans for the entire week done for you, right? And these are specifically designed for that specific week of the year and to tie into the theme of the week and things like that. But this tool is basically where you can sort of hand this to your staff, hand this to a decent instructor, and he's got his entire week of classes planned out already. And it'll walk them through, moving people from, getting off the buses into the program, and basically through all the phases of your after school program business. So really, really, really useful for our instructors. So let's go to that's a promotion again, program guide. Okay, let's move to this one, the worksheets. So we all know in the after school program, if you facilitate that program, one of the things that you have in, the after school program, obviously, is you have, more time during the evening, more time in the afternoon where the children are in your facility. So one of the things that we help you with is if you have quiet times, right? If you have time where the student maybe isn't in class, maybe they're waiting for class or whatever the case is, or they're in a different area, not directly taking a class at that specific moment, we provide for you all sorts of worksheets and quiet time activities that reinforce the benefits of martial arts training. So all these worksheets and these types of things are, again, specifically focused to, take that student and remind them, of the benefit they're getting from your training, and also remind the families and parents and those types of things. So a lot of this tool is designed to help you, for lack of a better description, take a lot of the heavy lifting out of executing the program, right? So this really helps you just sort of, focus on teaching, and we have a lot of these other tools here that can help you with the rest of it. Okay, so those are the worksheets. Next is A+ Mail. And again, this is, I'll be slightly redundant, but A+ Mail is designed to be a student newsletter specifically for the after school program student. So this is, again, specifically designed for that student who's participating in the after school program, separate from the traditional newsletter, but for all the same reasons, right? All the same reasons apply. And since, again, the students are with you longer, they're with you more hours during the day, we have the ability to reinforce the lessons that you're teaching in the school even more solidly, right? So use the A+ Mail newsletter. And again, we also take this and break it up into HTML emails for you as well. So you'll want to take a look at that. It's a very valuable tool. I really hope you're using it at a high level. Next, I'm going to skip over posters and calendars, but we typically give you some planning tools and some posters and some things like that you can use for nice decoration, but also nice to put a really professional touch on the school. We still see in this day and age an awful lot of martial arts schools that are, printing off not great looking, stuff, and they're taping it up on the wall and it looks really kind of hokey. And, you have the ability to be a beautiful looking venue, a beautiful looking facility. Might as well do that, right? For an extra few cents to print out a nice color poster. It's a lot nicer than just printing out something in, black and white, all capital letters, and taping it to a wall crooked, right? So let's move to this. The Leader's Edge is something I really wanted to make sure that we talked a little bit about. The Leader's Edge program is really a cool feature for you. We all know in both traditional lessons and in the after school program that, if we can get the students when they're 7 or 8 or 9 years old and keep them highly engaged, we kind of keep them forever, right? They really stay a really, really, really long time. And if they start younger, even better. But the teen market is particularly difficult to retain and motivate. And, now they're into the sort of the social development of their life, and they're, they're spending more time with friends. They're spending time, in some cases, getting jobs, things like that. So oftentimes they become attrition issues, for after school programs. So one of the things that we've done is we've created the Leader's Edge program specifically for the teens in your school. Now, again, we have to treat teens, somewhat differently, right? They're able to learn at a quicker pace. They're able to perform physically at a much higher level. They're able to, retain things differently, than the lower age students, younger students can. So we do want to be able to tailor this specifically for them. And that's what the Leader's Edge program is designed to help you do. One of the things that the Leader's Edge program is sort of in its wheelhouse is taking your teenage students and put them in literally a leadership role, help them become sort of assistant instructors, right? And again, that may not be appropriate for every student, but this Leader's Edge program is something that lots and lots of our schools use as an upgrade, use as an additional profit center, use as an ability to add revenue if that's what you decide to do. So think about that. Think about how you're retaining your teenage students. Take a look at the Leader's Edge program. I really think you're going to like the way that's laid out in the structure of the program and the lessons that it reinforces. So take a look at that if you're using the after school program model. I hope that will serve you well for those teenage year students. And I think that might be all I wanted to point out. Obviously, there are promotions, again, as we described, for that specific program. We have the AMS Kids Radio. This is interesting. So the AMS Kids Radio, again, are specifically designed audio segments to help you maximize and leverage your AMS Kids program, your after school program. Then the AMS Kids Stories is another big benefit that's really, really useful for you. Again, many of our schools who are using the AMS Kids program, who are using the after school program, have a little bit of downtime with their students, right? Meaning they have a class for an hour long, and then maybe there's a 20-minute break or a 30-minute break or something like that. Or in some cases, they even integrate these stories into their class time. So it kind of depends on the structure of your program. And if you have any questions about that, we're happy. Just give us a call here at headquarters and we'll walk you through some of the options there. But the AMS Kids Stories are basically sort of like fairy tales or fables or stories with a lesson is how I like to describe them. So let's say you have that 4 or 5 minute downtime scheduled for your students. Well, this is an opportunity. You plug in the AMS Kids Stories, you play it. The instructor stands there. Now you can read the story too. I think we give to you printed as well, so you can have the instructor read it if you like, or you can just play the audio. And there'll be questions at the end of the story about, what is the moral of this story and what are the lessons that we can learn here? How do we apply that lesson to our martial arts training? How do we apply those lessons to our home life, to our family life, to our school life? And a lot of these are what I would consider to be timeless social lessons, sort of like cultural lessons that we all learned in our childhood, but sometimes get lost along the way, right? So these are social literacy items, I think, that are very, very useful for you. So take a look at that. I don't want to belabor the point too much, but that's what the AMS Kids Radio is all about. Okay. Then finally, I'll point out one last feature. I think I said finally twice now, so I'm being dishonest. This is one of the promotions. So this would be a promotion for, it looks like February for this month. This would be about a month ahead. And in February, it looks like we're promoting the summer camp, right? And a spring camp. It looks like there's 2 different promotions here. And you'll see the type of variety and pieces that we're providing for you. So here we've got like a Facebook ad, a handout flyer, probably 8.5 by 11, maybe 5.5 by 8.5, something like that. Poster, a little wanted campaign, kind of an angle. Let's see here. It looks like we have some newspaper ads. Oh yeah. Newspaper ads, especially for summer camps, are very useful, right? Lots of local newspapers have a summer camp section as it gets close to the summertime. So we provide some summer camp ads for newspaper ads and things like that for you. Emails. This is a 3-fold brochure, 2-sided 3-fold brochure, some coupons. I'm sure a bunch of other stuff too. When you really start drilling into these campaigns, we really sort of do throw the kitchen sink at it and give you a lot of tools that you can use all over the place. So I hope that you find all that useful, and I hope that you make use of it. We have been thrilled at the amount of participation that we've had on this new platform since rolling it out about 3 weeks ago, I think, maybe 4 weeks ago now. We've had literally thousands and thousands of downloads, people that have downloaded these pieces. So we're really excited that you're extracting the value from this tool that we provide for you. Again, this tool is completely free for all of our Atlas Martial Arts software users. So this is a huge benefit for you that I really want to make sure you're leveraging. The AMS Kids After School program is a separate subscription. So if you're not subscribing to the AMS Kids program, you won't have that item. You won't have access to that. But if you are, you will, which makes sense. If you're not using it, you're not using it. So again, a very, very, very powerful tool that I really hope you're leveraging and getting a lot of value from. Okay. So let me pop back off the screen share here for a moment. Okay, cool. So I hope that that's helpful for you. If you have any comments or questions about that, please feel free to enter a comment or a question in the chat box over here below the video, or email me or text me, or hit me on Facebook or whatever you think might be useful, and I'd be happy to answer that for you, or get it to the guys downstairs who can chat with you directly. I wanted to take a minute now that we've talked a little bit about this new tool that's in your toolbox. and talk a little bit about 2017 and the early part of 2018. We're seeing in 2017, I've done some somewhat deep statistical analysis of our members, the people who are using Atlas Martial Arts software, our billing clients, my own schools, and also other large organizations that we have great relationships with, and that I've worked with for, in many cases, many years. And I've seen a couple of things that I thought I wanted to bring to your attention that would be valuable to you. Even if this isn't a problem in your specific school, it's something I really want you to be focused on. Since 2018, the stock market and the economy in general, not that they're connected necessarily, but we've been on an awfully nice up curve, right? The tax reform bill, although politically, has its challenges or had its challenges, is putting more money in the pockets of basically every American. It's really a big benefit for self-employed small business owners, S corps and LLCs, companies with pass-throughs, small companies and large, but companies that are organized like an S corp or an LLC that have pass-through revenue. There's been a lot of tax benefit there. So us as small business owners, our tax bill has gone down a fair bit. We've got some more capital to work with. The economy in general is increasing. Wage growth is starting a little bit. Now there's some inflationary concerns there, but we're seeing some wage growth now, which we haven't seen in 7 or 8 years. In general, the economic indicators are all looking really good, right? I'm a little worried about what oil's going to do, but now we have shale gas, so we have some ability to put pressure on that. But having said all that, I'm finding a common thread through a lot of the statistics that we were looking at last year. We looked at the average number of prospects, the average number of prospective new customers that people were adding to their Atlas Martial Arts software application last year. And we're seeing a nice increase in the number of prospects, right? Some were on the order, a nice double-digit increase, right? So averaged out per school, we're seeing the average school put just under 20% more new prospects into their system. Now that's pretty good news, right? Now, some of that I think is economy related. And some of it I also believe is that many of our users, our clients, are implementing lots of our marketing strategies now, and they're driving more traffic into their school. So a double-digit increase is a nice number, right? Now I'd like to see, even more, right? And we're going to work really hard to make that happen. But that's a nice increase there, right? Nice increase, especially when you look at the size of this data sampling I'm looking at. I'm looking at years of data, right? So this is a really nice increase. What I'm noticing, interestingly, is also that our clients who are making use of a lot of automation, marketing automation, and robust lead follow-up systems are leveraging that advantage to even greater levels than folks that aren't. So what I mean by that is this, and this should be intuitive, right? This shouldn't be new news or a surprise to anybody. When I look at schools' utilization of our software, and when I look at their results as a school, what I'm finding is the most pronounced gap that I'm seeing right now is a gap in lead follow-up. Does that make sense? Like, we're not aggressively enough following up with prospects once they've expressed interest. Now, there are some folks, even in our own industry, who think, well, if somebody really wanted to enroll, they would have called back and enrolled, or they would have come in and enrolled. I'm not going to chase anybody down. I'm not going to call anybody. I'm just going to send them one email or maybe 2 emails. And then that's enough, because if they really wanted to do this, 1 or 2 emails would have been plenty. Right. And that's just a very, I believe, very dangerous belief system. And I'll give you a case in point. Okay. I've been, a loyal Lexus brand enthusiast for couple of decades. And I've bought several from the same dealership, from the same dealer at the same dealership. And one of the things that he in specific, and I don't know if this is a Lexus thing or if this is just this dealer is good at this. One of the things that he's good at is following up with me, right? Letting me know what's going on, letting me know what's happening in the dealership, letting me know what's happening, the parties that they're having and, the gatherings that they're having and the car show that they're having and, things like that. He's really good at that. And he got me, right? So I've been shopping around. I've been looking around a little bit at new cars, and my car had, a lot of miles on it, and I love the car. The reason I hadn't gotten rid of it, the reason I hadn't traded it in yet was because I was, again, I was pretty loyal to Lexus, but I was looking around, the new, there was a Jaguar F-Type that I was looking at. That was kind of a beautiful little sporty car. I was looking at a few other options. I was looking at the Porsche, looking at the Jag. I was looking at the Beamer. The BMW is killing the 6 Series, and I was really kind of liking the 6 Series, but they had an M5 that I was kind of enamored with. I kind of liked it a lot. So anyway, the Lexus dealer, sends me an email. I don't think that there are 2 weeks that go by that he doesn't send one to me, right? I don't think he goes more than 2 weeks. Now for us, this is not a good lesson, right? 2 weeks is way too long. But for a car, it's a little different, right? This is a little bit of a different kind of a purchase cycle, right? So every couple of weeks, he doesn't forget about me, and I'm sure it's automated. It's got to be, right? So over the Christmas break, I went to a track day down in Miami, and I drove the Jaguar F-Type. I drove the BMW. I drove a bunch of cars, S65 Mercedes. I drove a bunch of different cars at a demo day down there. And I had made up my mind that I was not going to make the buying decision. I was not going to purchase one until I had driven all the other options. I wanted to look at Audi. I wanted to look at everything, right? Well, my Lexus guy, right, invited me to a little gathering over at the dealership. Totally, they were opening a new location. So they had a nice little lunch reception for frequent customers and beautiful, anyway, a nice little party over at the dealership. And so I went and I test drove the new GS F-Type, F-Sport. And, 3 days later, we had a deal, right? 3 days later, I went and signed the papers and, we had the car done, right? See, none of that would have happened if he wouldn't have been following up with me. I was a loyal customer, but I was looking everywhere else. I was looking elsewhere, right? I was shopping around. I was looking at BMW. I was looking at Mercedes. I was looking at Audi. I was looking at Infiniti. I looked at everything, right? I was going to look at everything. But his tenacity, his ability, his willingness to follow up with me on a regular basis got the deal done, got the sale done, right? Now, again, I think 2 weeks is too long for martial arts, right? I think we should be communicating with prospective customers very, very, very frequently. But you should be communicating with them only when you have something of value to talk about. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just sending me emails saying, buy a car, 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 right? He was sending me emails that said, hey, listen, not sure if you knew this or not, but I know that you're driving that, 2000 and whatever, GS, but, did you know that the new GS has like 35 more horsepower? And then gosh, the new F-Sport type has the Sport Plus mode that, really gets around the track well. You know what I mean? Those types of things. Like he was communicating with me about something that I was interested in. I wasn't ready to make a buying decision yet. I was interested though, and I wanted more information. I needed more. I needed to know more about it, right? So I highly recommend that you remember to leverage all of the automation tactics that you have at your disposal in Atlas to follow up with these prospects. In addition to that, you want to be augmenting all of that with live human beings talking to them on the telephone. You want to also be augmenting that with printed content, right? Direct mail, postcards, letters, these types of things. Different people respond and pay attention to different types of messages, different types of media, right? Like, for example, if you send me a DVD in the mail, if you send me a DVD, I ain't ever watching it. I don't even think I have a DVD player in my house now. I do actually. I actually do have one, but it's not hooked up. I have one DVD player in my bedroom, in an armoire in the bedroom that I don't have connected anymore, because we just have everything on Netflix and everything's digital, and I don't use DVDs, right? So if you send me a DVD and you think that that's going to be the tool, the only tool that I should respond to, you're never going to get me. You're never going to get me to do anything, right? If you send me a DVD and an audio CD, the audio CD I'll put in my car, right? Even the new car has the CD player, right? So I'll listen to every audio. I listen to audio constantly in the car, constantly in the car. I've always got some audio playing in the car. Some people are the opposite. Some people will never play an audio CD in the car, but they'll watch a DVD if you send them one, right? The same thing is true with every piece of media. If you email me something, the odds of me seeing it are pretty low. The Lexus guy got through, right? Because I was paying attention. I was watching for it, right? But if you text message me something, I'm going to get that. I'm going to see that, right? And if you send me to a squeeze page or a page with a video on it, I'll probably watch that if the video is, is interesting enough. You know what I'm saying? So the concept of multimedia sequential follow-up is critically important. And it's something that we see more and more of our clients doing better and better at. And we're seeing the results in their revenue. We're seeing the upward results in their billing. We're seeing the upward results in their software with their student counts, right? I went back and looked at all of the Atlas users who were using marketing automation and those who were not. And the conversion rate was very different, right? There was a big difference. There were big differences in conversion rate statistics. So you really want to take a look at that. But in addition to the automation, you want to make sure you're using some manual processes too. You want to talk to human beings, right? You want to make sure you can communicate with them. So let me walk you through a couple of things I'm describing here real quick. Again, not to belabor, but I want to make sure you see what I'm seeing. Okay, so here I am in Atlas Martial Arts Software. The first thing I would point out, the first thing I will point out is some automation. Okay, so if you go to the marketing tools section on the left and you go to automation, this is our marketing automation engine. I'm going to go to the new prospect campaigns, right? And I have a bunch of them in here. This is a demo school, so I have a lot of test information in here. Let's find one that has a bunch of steps in it. Of course, I don't have any that have a lot of steps in them. So here would be an example. I go to my new prospect campaign. I hit the little plus there to add a campaign. So this one might be for, let's say, Web Kids Program. And this is if somebody opts in on my website and they're looking for my kids program. The program that they're attached to is going to be the kids program. So let me just find, let's say, again, this is test data, kids karate. Okay, hit save. Now I've got that. That campaign set up, the sort of placeholder for the campaign setup. Now I can add my steps. So I go in here and I'm going to add, let's say, an email. So I can add an email or a text message. I don't have text messages turned on in this application. This is the wrong app to be showing you. But I can send either emails or text messages, and I can send those messages to the customer, to the prospect. I can also send messages to my staff to remind me that, hey, listen, you just got a new opt-in on the website, or to remind me, hey, listen, your prospect, Johnny Smith, just got the email about your summer special. You might want to call him. You might want to give him a call and let him know, or you might want to give him a call and remind him, right? And you can send those those messages to your staff by text message or email as well. So very useful tool in this marketing automation system. So the idea here, I have a slide. The idea here is very much like this, right? The concept is, let me switch this. How do I switch this? So the concept is very much like this. A new prospect enters the funnel. Instantly, immediately, and automatically, they start getting content from you. Day one, they're going to get an email, right? Or a text message, however you want to set it up. You can set up as many steps as you want to for as much delay as you like. Day 2, they might get a text message. Day 3, they might get another email. Day 4, they might get another text message. Day 5, maybe we queue a direct mail letter to go out to them. And that you can schedule that by using the staff notification, right? You just set up a step for 5 days out, and you don't send any content to the client. You just send the content to your staff members. Hey, program director, send the new prospect letter to Johnny Smith, right? That type of thing. Sorry. Day 6, day 7, live calls. Day 8, maybe an email, right? Those types of things. So all this you can set up in sequence inside the marketing automation engine. This is a very powerful. Oh, here's a good one. This has 7 steps in it. So it looks like right here, immediately he's going to send an email to the client and an email to his staff. Maybe a couple more. I'm not sure. Again, this is test information. Delay 1 day, he's going to send another email. After 1 more day, he's going to send another email. 3 days after that, he's going to send an email. 5 days after that, he's going to send another email, right? So again, you can configure this stuff. Oh, and they're all going to go out. Looks like these are going to go out at 11 p.m. Eastern, or 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm sorry. That's a pretty good time to hit. So again, this idea of these sequences, this idea of this chaining together of these messages is very, very, very useful for you. Now, once you have that set up, and our team here at Atlas headquarters will show you how to do all this stuff. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, they'll help you. They'll help you set all this stuff up. You can use really beautiful HTML email templates. You can use text. You can use really kind of whatever you want. But then in addition to that, you want to be making live human interaction, live human contact with folks, right? Nothing is as persuasive or as friendly as talking to a human being. You know what I'm saying? Talking to, somebody who can listen to you, who can hear your concerns, who can help analyze your needs, right? So, pardon me. So we have this little prospect widget here. So it looks like this application has two prospects in here month to date. In addition to that, if you scroll down to the left-hand side, you'll see we have sort of a more robust prospect widget here as well. And this shows you your last, I don't know, as many as you want to see, all the prospects in your system in kind of a quick list format, right? And then in addition to that, you can go to the full list of prospects. And that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to go over here to the full list of my prospects, so I can show you a couple of features based on appointments. So in the prospect list, you'll see appointment date and appointment time. Right? You'll see those 2 items. And that's really, really useful. If someone has already set a trial appointment with you or appointment to come in and visit you, you might not want to call them as aggressively, or you might want to put them on a different list to call. So you can sort this by appointment date or set up a date range to search for people who have an appointment set at given dates, and put them on or take them off your call list, right? Makes it really simple to do. And then also there's now appointment type. So you can set up an intro 1 appointment or an intro 2 appointment or a parent teacher conference appointment, whatever the case might be, and be able to slice and dice your list based on the type of appointment they have set up as well. Does that make sense? So again, we're giving you a really, really powerful tool here to be able to keep track of your prospects based on when they opted in, when they became a prospect, or when they've, at what point during the sequence they're in. You'll be able to look in their sequence and see what messages they've received, things like that. And then also these automatic notifications to you and or your staff that can help you follow up with them at the appropriate times. So looking at last year's statistics, looking at last year's numbers, let me see here. Looking at all of the hard data, that I get to see here, the best piece of advice that I can give you when it comes to lead conversion, right? Turning more prospects into more students is, number 1, leverage at a high level the marketing automation features. Good marketing automation sequences, attractive offers in those sequence steps to get them to either come back to your website or to call you to set an appointment up, whichever funnel you're trying to drive them to. And then augment those marketing, use the notification system, right? In the system, so that your staff, you and your staff, or as many people as you want, are getting notifications based on when new prospects are getting content, right? They're receiving things, right? They're taking actions. You want to know about all that. And then third, augment the automation, right? With manual processes that help reinforce the automated processes, right? So for example, one of the things that I like to set up in my systems are that let's say every other Friday, every other Saturday, something like that, we have some kind of a community outreach event that I want to make sure all my people know about, all my prospects know about, right? So I might make sure that I'm setting up messages to those folks, giving them reasons to come into the school that are like what the Lexus dealer did, right? Like that, where every email isn't just, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, sign up for lessons, sign up for lessons, sign up for lessons. Some of them are, but a large part of the content that I'm delivering is content that the client, the customer, the parent, the student will find valuable, and things that, when I'm out in the community doing, child ID kits or anti-bullying seminars or child abduction awareness seminars, things like that. I want all my prospects to know about that stuff. I want to make sure that they know all that stuff and that they're in the loop, right? So that now I have something of value to talk to them about. When there are breakthroughs or evolutions in child development, if there's a new, like one of the things that I did in my sequences maybe a month ago or so, were warnings about the flu, warnings about how bad the flu was, and how important it is to keep your immune system healthy, and that of the importance of diet and things like that, diet and exercise. And that led back into, and by the way, if you feel like this is an area that you can improve or an area that you'd like to improve, hey, give us a call here at the school and we're happy to help you. Go to the website and take advantage of our web offer, or of our web exclusive offer, things like that, right? So in macro, 2017 in review, to prepare for 2018, the big rock, the big thing that I'm seeing that can make a big difference in your school quickly is leveraging the leads that you're generating at a higher level. So using robust marketing automations, robust sequences of emails, text messages, video, driving them back to videos on your website, driving them to pages where they can take an action, delivering content of value to the client, to the prospect, delivering things that people are going to like, they're going to want to consume, is a big rock for you, big benefit for you. And then augmenting all of those processes, all those automated processes, with some manual processes, right? So send them a letter once a month, right? Certainly early on in their prospect life cycle, certainly day 2 or 3, I want a letter to go out. Personally, I trigger the letter instantly. Immediately they get an email and a text, and my guys get a reminder to send out the mail package. And I have a nice, robust mail package that all my prospects get. It costs me about $2, and it's under $3, but it cost me a little over $2. Let's say $3 a piece to put them into the mail, right? So whenever I have mailing address, that package gets shipped out, right? And it's very robust. It's a DVD, a CD, actually 2 CDs and a DVD, a booklet, paper, a bunch of stuff, right? So it's a very robust package. You don't have to go that crazy, right? But I'm really focused on getting those leads converted for my schools. So think about that. Think about how you can augment these automated processes. Do really good at the automated processes. Make sure you're executing that to its fullest. Lots of cool content in there. But then also try, augment them with manual processes that can also add value. So that's it. That's the big rock. Let me check my list. Student follow. Oh, one last item that I didn't want to leave off the marketing for 2018 list. If you've been an Atlas user for any period of time, or an AMS member for a while, and you've seen our sort of quarterly marketing calls, like we do a marketing, next month we'll do a Q2 marketing webinar, right? Once a quarter, we typically do that. One of the big rocks that's coming up in April, and it's at the beginning of April 1st actually, is Easter. And I don't want you to have to wait to get to that. Easter every year is a very, 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 very big marketing opportunity for our schools in the kids market. There are, pretty much every community outreach organization in your community will be having some type of an Easter egg hunt, or, the Easter bunny thing, or whatever the case might be. Right. And again, a large chunk of of our clients are in the family market, right? We're marketing to families, children and families for martial arts lessons. So that's a huge opportunity where a lot of them are going to be all at once, right? So we've used the booth model. We've used the sponsorship model where we actually sponsor the Easter egg hunt, and we stuff all the eggs with the little prizes, the little toys, or we'll also put in a little certificate, almost like a fortune cookie piece of paper, almost something like that, in the Easter egg hunts that have like a free 2 weeks at XYZ Karate, or free spin of the wheel, or whatever, right? These types of things that can help you drive traffic. But these are huge lead generating opportunities, huge lead generation opportunities that I really don't want you to miss. So make sure right now, if you don't know already, you should slap yourself on the knuckles with a ruler and then immediately go find out where all of the local Easter egg hunts are. Talk to all the local elementary schools, daycare centers, churches, Kiwanis clubs, Eagles clubs, Elk clubs, things like that, but also all the local city government, right? There will typically be, regional Easter egg hunts in every community, right? And this is a huge opportunity for you. So if you're good at going to live events and capturing leads and getting people interested in your lessons, this is a huge opportunity for you that you don't want to miss. If you're not good at that, then send me an email and look in the Martial Arts Business Academy. I will have put up in the Martial Arts Business Academy the strategies that we've used for the booth model in the past. And that might help you sort of utilize that strategy at things like Easter egg hunts, at things like 4th of July fireworks vendors, at things like, movie theater grand openings, Chinese restaurant grand openings, things like that. Anytime that you're out in the community, face-to-face with large groups of your prospective customers, there are several strategies that we've used for years and years that we've optimized over a couple of decades that work really, really, really well at driving a lot of traffic, capturing a lot of leads, and converting a lot of those leads into new students. So send me an email. I'll be happy to point you in the right direction on that, and I'll load a lot of that content in the Biz Academy over the next couple of a few days here or so. So that's that. That's my list. I hope that all that's useful for you. I really wanted to make sure you had a chance to see all the new marketing tools that are at your disposal, and a chance to think through what your prospect lead conversion funnel is going to look like in 2018. It's worth the time. It's worth tuning and tweaking that content. Look, totally transparently, I've seen in Orlando one email sequence work phenomenally well. And that exact same marketing sequence, that exact same email sequence out in Los Angeles, terrible. Work was horrible, right? So you want to always be tuning and tweaking and testing and updating and enhancing those sequences, right? This is something that, as a martial arts CEO, as the leader of your organization, this is one of the things that you want to be thinking about a lot and optimizing and tuning and tweaking a lot over time, right? So I hope that all that's useful for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them on the discussion forum at the bottom of the page. Looks like that's behaving a little strange right now. I'm going to go take a look at it and see if there's something going on there. But I see some comments from last time. And if not, we'll talk again next time. Feel free to email us here at headquarters, or give us a call at 800-275-1600, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks again. I'm so excited about 2018, guys. You have no idea. The economy's on an upswing. All the indicators for our industry are positive right now. There may have not been another better time to be in our industry, right? The Karate Kid 80s were pretty good, but right now with social media and the ability to attract new prospects by community outreach and by social marketing, this is pretty awesome. The cost per lead now is so low compared to how it's been in the past. So we're really excited about what 2018 looks like, and I hope you can take advantage of that as well. Thanks again so much, everybody. Appreciate it. Speak to you again soon.